Hello everybody, welcome to the Tube. We have a special for you today, a very educational special. Today we're going to give you the tools to become the smartest of all your friends with the best educational and cool YouTube channels out there. So open your mind and let's learn something new. Microgneta is one smart cookie. On his idea channel, he takes something familiar like LOL Cats, the ending of a show, or just Taylor Swift, and gives it a very original twist, explaining things you didn't know you need explanation for. Microgneta has been doing his show since 2012, and every week he comes up with the best ideas around. So here he is explaining why we should not be so afraid of listicles.
Jake Marshall on Digiday called ours the Listicle Era. Writing for The New Yorker, Mark O'Connell said that we recognize that the list is the signature form of our time, and Maria Konnikova writes that lists are one of the most ubiquitous ways to package content on the web. It's the article format which has helped build online editorial empires, but also other editorial empires. Yes, that is good, but what about yes, that is also appropriate, but actually what I'm talking about is, yeah, that one. That is the one. The Viral Texts Project at Northeastern University is studying popular 19th century texts, and after studying 2.7 million pages from 500 newspapers to determine what kinds of things may warrant being called viral by 1800s standards, they figured out that among the most popular formats was the list. Specifically, the fates of the apostles, a list detailing the various and occasionally gruesome demises of Jesus's followers. Other popular primordial listicles, they say, concern the lifespans of different animals, and a piece titled simply Facts Worth Noting, perhaps penned by Matthew Santoro's great-grandfather. The point being that even if it feels like ours is the listicle era and that listicles feel super internet, you can hold that VoIP phone because they are super not.
Some channels will answer very burning questions, but ASAP Science will answer weird questions, like why do we like breasts so much, or why are we clicking our fingers, or what weed does to our brains. 4 million people are subscribed to the channel, and it even produced its own book. Here is some part of the answer. What came first, the chicken or the egg?
It's a question that has perplexed humanity from as early as the ancient Greeks all the way to the 21st century, and we're still dying to know. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? The question would be simple if we took it literally. Egg-laying animals existed far before chickens came about, so technically the egg came before the chicken. But this question, better worded as the chicken or the chicken egg, focuses more on the cyclical cause and consequence. That is, if a chicken is born from an egg, where did the egg come from? Another chicken, presumably, which too must have come from an egg. So which came first? On the one side, we have Team Chicken. Research suggests that the protein essential for the formation of chicken eggs, called OV17, is only found in chicken ovaries. Without it, the chicken eggshell could not be formed. So, without a chicken, you technically can't get a chicken egg. But this all depends on the nature and definition of a chicken egg in the first place. After all, is a chicken egg an egg laid by a chicken, or one that simply contains a chicken?
Now, think of Joe Hansen as a geeky Batman. In his own words, he is a scientist by day, Tumblr science guy by night. His mission? To share fascinating science stories with the internet. 2 years ago, he started to make his famous science Tumblr into a very smart YouTube channel, explaining the simplest things in a complicated way. Here he is talking about dogs and the way they understand us.
These experiments show that dogs can definitely separate the meaning of words from the emotions attached, but how much information do they take from each? When I ask my dogs, do you want to go for a walk? They aren't processing the real meaning of that sentence the way that we do, like, let me see, do I want to go for a walk right now, or get some exercise? Maybe I'm not feeling it today. I'm a dog, like, what does it even mean to want something? As good as dogs are with words, in many of our interactions, there's probably a good amount of clever Hans at play. In the early 1900s, a horse named Hans was said to be able to solve simple math problems by tapping his hoof to represent numbers. 2 plus 3. Smart horse. It was later found, though, that Hans couldn't do math at all. He was just responding to tiny cues from his handlers. Maybe their facial expressions would tense as he got close to the right answer, or they would exhale when he tapped the right number. Clever Hans demonstrates that while we might think of language as something we experience mainly through our ears, we communicate meaning using more than just sound frequencies.
Yeah, I'm a cat person. SciShow is the brainchild of veteran vlogger Hank Green, and it's a channel dedicated to exploring science topics in simple and fun ways. No subject matter seems to be off limits, and they're all explained in such a way that you are guaranteed to be entertained. Here is Green trying to explain how anesthesia works.
I don't mean to alarm anyone, but we don't really know exactly how general anesthesia works. We do know that it works and that it's relatively safe, but scientists are still trying to figure out how these different chemicals switch out the lights in your brain. Anesthesia is a state where you're insensitive to pain, and doctors use it so that when they need to get at your heart or your kidneys or whatever, they can turn something invasive and traumatic into a peaceful nap. General anesthesia is the kind that knocks you out completely, as opposed to local anesthesia, which just numbs a part of your body for a while, or twilight sedation, where you're technically conscious but won't remember anything that happened. Usually, general anesthesia involves a combination of two drugs. The first knocks you out fast, and the other one keeps you that way. The anesthesiologist can fine-tune the dosage of the second drug to make sure you don't wake up too early or go too far under. So we know that anesthetics knock you unconscious, and we know that they keep you from feeling pain, responding to your environment, and almost always from remembering what happened. Which is a huge plus, because feeling and remembering being sliced up and stitched back together would not be pleasant.
Victoria Hart, commonly known as Hart, is a self-described recreational mathemusician who is most known for creating mathematical videos on YouTube. She makes doodling on a notebook not only fun, but eye-opening. Here she is explaining why pi is just wrong.
You learned in school that pi is the all-important circle constant and had to memorize a whole bunch of equations involving it, because that's the way it's been taught for a very long time. If you found any of these equations confusing, it's not your fault. It's just that pi is wrong. Let me show you what I mean. Radians. Good system for measuring angles when it comes to mathematics. It should make sense, but it doesn't because pi messes it up. For example, how much pi is this? You might think this should be 1 pi, but it's not. The full 360 degrees of pi is actually 2 pi. What? Say I ask you how much pi you want, and you say pi over 8. You'd think this should be 1/8 of a pi, but it's not. It's 1/16 of a pi. That's confusing. You may be thinking, come on, Vi, it's a simple conversion. All I have to do is divide by 2. Or multiply by 2 if you're going the other way. So you just have to make sure you pay attention to which way you're No, you're making excuses for pi. Mathematics should be as elegant and beautiful as possible. When you complicate something that should be as simple as 1 pi equals 1 pi.
Since debuting in 2010, Vsauce has gained more than 9 million followers. Creator and host Michael Stevens brings up seemingly rhetorical questions, like what if everyone jumped at once? Or the above, what if the sun disappeared? And answers them with wonder and thought-provoking detail. The popular science channel has spawned spin-off Vsauce 2 and Vsauce 3, hosted by Jake Roper, who we had the pleasure of hosting here on the show. Here's a clip from the original Vsauce channel about the science behind feeling awkward.
We don't like awkwardness. It makes us uncomfortable, cringe. But what is awkwardness? Why is it good? And who is the main character of the universe? To really understand awkwardness, we need to put it in context with the entire family of forces that guide social behavior. Think of this sheet of cardboard as a list of all possible behaviors. It's not infinite because of the limits of science and biology. You can't move faster than light or be in 2 places at once. You can't wear pants made out of molten lead. Next, there are legal limits, the laws of the state. They delineate what you agree not to do, lest the authorities punish you. Murder, stealing, speeding. What's left is molded by the finer tool of social expectations.
Yeah, what about the answer? Okay, I watched the whole thing because it's on the internet. Now, want to understand something? Well, sometimes the answer is much more complex than the question. CGP Grey is here to break down the hardest answers, but don't try to understand everything. Questions like, how can I become the King of England, or the Pope, or where is Holland? In the next video, Grey tries to explain what really killed most Native Americans. It's not what you think.
Between the first Europeans arriving in 1492 and the Victorian Age, the indigenous population of the New World dropped by at least 90%. The cause? Not the conquistadors and company. They killed lots of people, but their death count is nothing compared to what they brought with them. Smallpox, typhus, tuberculosis, influenza, bubonic plague, cholera, mumps, measles, and more leapt from those first explorers to the coastal tribes, then onward the microscopic invaders spread through a hemisphere of people with no defenses against them. Tens of millions died. These germs decided the fate of these battles long before the fighting started. Now ask yourself, why didn't the Europeans get sick? If New Worlders were vulnerable to Old World diseases, then surely Old Worlders would be vulnerable to New World diseases. Yet there was no America.
Interesting. Philip Detmer and Stefan Rether are both behind the very successful YouTube channel In a Nutshell, where they animate their answers to the questions of life, like what is light, what is death, or what is black matter. They have an average of 2 million views per video, so it seems people like their answers. Here they are trying to understand if we are alone in the universe.
Are we the only living things in the entire universe? The observable universe is about 90 billion light-years in diameter. There are at least 100 billion galaxies, each with 100 to 1,000 billion stars. Recently, we've learned that planets are very common too. And there are probably trillions and trillions of habitable planets in the universe, which means there should be lots of opportunity for life to develop and exist, right? But where is it? Shouldn't the universe be teeming with spaceships? Let's take a step back. Even if there are alien civilizations in other galaxies, there's no way we'll ever know about them. Basically, everything outside of our direct galactic neighborhood, the so-called local group, is pretty much out of our reach forever because of the expansion of the universe. Even if we had really fast spaceships, it would literally take billions of years to reach these.
I want to see aliens. Veritasium is a video blog all about science, and once again, the range of topics explored is phenomenal. Experiments are carried out, micro-concept and misconceptions are laid to rest, and science is even sometimes explained through the power of song. But they have just 3 million subscribers. Here they are trying to understand why we age.
Aging is not recognized as a disease. I mean, there are plenty of diseases we do acknowledge, like diabetes, heart disease, Alzheimer's, and at their core, aging may be responsible for all of them. And yet aging seems natural because it's something that we do from birth. And for a while it makes us better, bigger, stronger, faster, more intelligent. But then at some point in your life, it reverses and aging makes our bodies decay and degrade. And why is that? Why do we have to age? Why do our bodies have to decay? Well, scientists are now realizing there is a fundamental cellular mechanism at the heart of aging. Do we age at the macroscopic level because our cells are aging at the microscopic level?
To a great extent, yes. There's only a finite number of times a cell will divide.
And to end the show with a bang, a rather slow bang, the Slow-Mo Guys gives you new perspective to day-to-day things like exploding balloons or jumping on a trampoline. With 7 million subscribers, people are loving the break from their fast pace in life. Here they are.
Hi, I'm Gavin.
I'm Dan, and we're the Slow-Mo Guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, it's Annette. I had access to this amazing slow-motion camera when I worked on movies, so we decided to film some stuff like this. I feel like you can make anything look good in slow-mo. Even the simplest stuff's impressive. Wow! Science. Oh, amazing. I mean, we do get to play with some pretty cool stuff. It can be painful, though. Not for me. We even take on some of the mad suggestions we get from you guys. I hate you. Dan hates you. But thank you, Internet, for suggesting it. There are so many incredible moments that you can't see with your own eyes, so we like to show them to you.
And that's it. Thank you for watching us and letting us educate you. All the shows are obviously on YouTube. This show is on our website, i24news.tv. Check us out. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.